Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Metropolis Radio. Today we are taking a look at this article here that says James Gunn says superhero movies must change to stay relevant. Writer-director James Gunn opens up about his concerns for the future of superhero movies and what needs to change for them to remain relevant. Now, he's still doing press for the Suicide Squad that I believe is coming out on August 6th. So, of course they're gonna I think that they ask everybody about the health of the superhero genre, but let's just get into it. I'm gonna skip the first couple of paragraphs because it's basically just background on James Gunn himself, and I don't think it's really necessary, but let's get into this right here. As time grows near for the latest genre effort from writer-director, Gunn spoke with the Irish Times to discuss the Suicide Squad and his thoughts on the future of the superhero genre, believing the current state of the films to be concerning. Gunn compared the genre's trajectory to another that once reigned supreme in Hollywood and expressed his thoughts on what needs to happen to avoid the same fate. Here is what James Gunn said, quote, "We know about the way cowboy films went and the way war films went. I don't know. I think you're gonna. I don't think you have. I think you don't have to be a genius to put two and two together and see that there's a cycle to those sorts of films, and the only hope for the future of the comic book and superhero films is to change them up. They're really dumb and they're mostly boring for me right now. I loved them at the beginning. I was really excited when they first started making those movies. It was about the visual effects when I saw Superman as a kid. I still love that movie. Okay, I know that's a guy on wires and blue screen with that sort of crappy visual effects. And then when Iron Man came out, I was in. You're able to make a guy fly around who looks like a guy flying around. And that was a beautiful thing to be able to do. But if the movies don't change, it's going to get really, really boring." End quote. The article goes on. Given his ongoing work in the genre, Gunn's criticisms of superhero films may seem a bit hypocritical to some, and those people, in my opinion, are complete idiots. Yes, given that he has worked on superhero, it doesn't matter that he's worked on superhero movies. You do have the right to criticize the current slate, and all he's basically saying is, hey, Westerns went through the same fate, war films went through the same fate, and there's another genre he forgot to bring up, and that was film noir. Film noir was hugely popular in the late 30s going into the 1940s, and then you started to see a decline of it in the 1950s, and the genre ultimately died by the 1960s. So yes, the popularity of these genres are in cycles. First it was film noir, then it was westerns, then it was war movies, now it's comic book movies. What's going to come in and replace comic book movies? None of us really know what's going to be the next big thing. That's one of the things about Black Swan events, is that you can only really analyze them after the fact that they have hit. The Black Swan event, essentially, like I said, is it's an unpredictable event that you can't predict in the moment, but you can analyze it and what caused the Black Swan to come in long after the fact. But let's get back to the article before I derail for too long. Given his ongoing work in the genre, Gunn's criticisms of superhero movies may seem a bit hypocritical to some, but who would know better about the lack of evolution than one currently in it? Additionally, since his work on Super, the writer-director has frequently shown an ability to break superhero genre conventions and deliver exciting efforts time and again. Gunn isn't the only one to express concerns about the future of the genre, with the MCU having frequently been cited for feeling like too much of the same, even with game changers such as Black Panther and Loki. I'll give you Loki as a game changer, but Black Panther, no, that movie was not a game changer. That movie has a shit ton of problems. But that's neither here nor there. Despite his concerns, the future clearly won't see the end of Gunn's reign in the superhero genre, with production set to begin on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 later this year, as well as the holiday special and what is likely to be his final MCU outings. He's sure to go out on a high with the House of Mouse-owned studio. Until their arrivals in a couple of years, fans can look forward to the Suicide Squad's debut it's August 5th. Sorry, yeah, I thought it was August 6th. No, debut in theaters on August 5th, and Peacemaker on HBO Max in January. Okay, so in short, I do agree with James Gunn's sentiment, is that, look, the genre either needs to evolve or it's going to die. You know, every genre goes through this, and genres that refuse to, well, and the other thing that people normally bring up is like, sure, the Western ultimately never went away. War films ultimately never went away. Even film noir ultimately never went away. They're just not as popular as they once were. And I actually want to know what you guys think. What direction do you think that superhero movies need to change? What direction do you think that superhero movies need to go into? Do they need to get even bigger than they already are, or do they need to contract and go smaller? But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it right here before I drag this out for too long. If you stuck around this long, thanks so much for doing so. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I am terrible at ending these. So I will just see you guys next time.